Ant-Man, more like can't beat the Suns, man. Psychos and sickos unite for a Minnesota Timberwolves seat. Colin Gillespie in their Nightmares edition of the PHNX Suns post-game show. Of course, brought to you by our friends over at Bet365. Download Bet365 app. Use code PHNX365. Deposit 10. Place a bet for 5. Get $150 in bonus bets. And, of course, brought to you by our friends over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details. Of course, we are live from Wild Horse Pass. We just had a wonderful watch party. I'm Eric. That's Gil, Espo, Steven, and the Freckled Mamba beyond the Mac, making all of the magic happen. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button for a Phoenix Suns 108-105 victory. Their second out of 2 games against the Minnesota Timberwolves. But before we get into the game, Gil, I got to know, it was your first time out here at Wild Horse Pass, first time at a PHNX Suns watch party. Did it live up to the hype?
It exceeded the hype. Honestly, first of all, win. So, I mean, that means there's some good vibes here. Food was incredible. Crowd was incredible. We had a great time. So, I enjoyed it, and I can't wait to do it again.
It's always fun to be able to hang out with the PHNX Suns diehards, the PHNX Sports faithful. And we had some good banter going on at the table, too.
We did. It was a lot of fun tonight. A lot of knowledgeable people out here, including Cogs, which he's always my favorite to sit and talk to. But a great night out here at Wild Horse Pass. Always fun. And I think I'm going to wind up elbowing Gil in the ribs at some point.
Yeah, well, look, just do it a little bit. Get you kicked out.
Go home early?
We might get some more room here. Look, we are going to talk about a wonderful Phoenix Suns victory. Mark Williams had a great game. Colin Gillespie turned it on in the second half. Rudy Gobert is a certified fraud and loser. We're going to get into all of that. But again, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Steven, the Suns are 2-0 against the Timberwolves this season. I would say arguably their 2 best wins of the season have come against the Timberwolves and, of course, short-handed. How do they get it done tonight versus how they did it the first time they matched up?
How much is Anthony Edwards averaging this season, series against the Suns?
A lot.
40.5 points.
40.5 points. So it's not because they're locking him down in terms of stopping him from scoring. It's the pockets in which they're taking decisions away from him and kind of putting him in a bind where he has to make a decision that's predictable. And because it's predictable, they can take something away or break his rhythm. And you multiply that across multiple possessions where he's at the head of the attack for them, regardless of what action they might be running. Now it means the ball is not getting the other guys in the rhythm that it needs to. Look at his assist total tonight. Just 2.
Mm-hmm.
Only 2. So 40 points, 41 points, only 2 assists. He didn't really make many decisions that led to someone else having an opportunity to score from it. And that's because the Suns are very good with just keeping the ball in front, but also crowding the gaps around whoever it is that's on the ball so that they're not always having to guard him one-on-one. Now, credit to him. He's a superstar. He's good with going quick sometimes, so he goes quicker than the help can kind of surface. But more often than not, the Suns were very solid with their defensive process on him in particular.
They feel so good at getting the stars out of rhythm. Mm-hmm. Maybe they get those points, but yeah, you're right. They're not comfortable in it in how they're doing it. I mean, it was the other night. Who was it? It wasn't James Harden. I don't remember. Luka Doncic said that it was probably the most uncomfortable he'd felt because they were letting him score but taking away the pass. Like, this speaks to me just great coaching. Yeah. Having them prepared for any situation that's coming up.
But I think the other part of the coaching, like, again, you can draw up the prettiest, most exotic schemes, the schemes that make the most sense. If the execution is not there, it's all for naught.
Yeah.
So going back to the guys, execution, they did it again.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's deja vu. We talked about Luka Doncic, a Monday night game, undermanned against a team who has a superstar, and they kind of let the superstar do the thing, also on Peacock, no less. And Anthony Edwards had a big game. Luka Doncic had a big game last week, but we talked about the processes. And almost to a certain point, not that they were letting him get it, but they were shutting other people out, like Naz Reese, for example, a guy who usually has a big game off the bench, 2 of 12. A guy who he wasn't catching the ball in spots where he normally catches, wasn't able to shoot and score the way he normally does. 2 of 10 from 3 for him. Even like the late shot to tie the game down the stretch, he was out of his rhythm. So Anthony Edwards has 40 points. You kind of withstand that, but almost by design, because he was working for those 40 points. It was efficient on 21 shots, but he still worked for it. It was a lot of those great defense, better offense looks. So to be able to withstand that, I think that's a mark of a good team, especially when you're shorthanded and don't have your guys.
Well, and I think that's kind of the big thing here is you're shorthanded, you don't have your guys.
Yeah.
I mean, another game without Devin Booker and another game without Jalen Green, and those are your 2 best offensive options, your 2 offensive engines. And there were a couple of points in this game where you felt like, man, they could really use one of those guys. But you saw a couple of different players step up. Obviously not the best shooting night for Colin Gillespie, but he turned it up in that later part of the game in that second half. Mark Williams, arguably the best game of his Suns career so far with just 22 points tonight, but still felt so impactful. Dylan Brooks at a certain point, sure, he didn't shoot that great from the field, but he still got it done and hit some clutch shots when he needed to. The mark of good coaching and a good team is that you find a way to win games like tonight. The Minnesota Timberwolves were fully healthy. Sure, Ant was, questionable with an illness.
Yeah.
He played, he dropped 40, he was fine. Right, Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert until he got ejected for a terrible, terrible, terrible foul from him. This was a fully healthy Minnesota Timberwolves team at home looking for revenge and also winners of 5 straight coming into tonight. The PHNX Suns, losers of 2 straight, coming up getting their ass kicked from Houston, shorthanded again, come out there, and not only do they win, but they lead for a majority of this game. Minus a little push from the Timberwolves there in the second quarter, they led for pretty much almost the entire game. That is so impressive from top to bottom, not just from a coaching standpoint, but from a player standpoint. You can't help but be impressed with how this team shows up every single night.
Yeah, and we talk about next man up, as we said it before the game, and we've been saying it basically all year because of the injuries that this team is dealing with, but 6 guys in double figures for the Suns tonight, and Jordan Goodwin was right there with 9 points of his own. Dylan Brooks, 20 shots, 7 of 20 from the field, but the looks that he was getting and the ones that he made were always like at the right time to where the defense had to continue to respect what he was doing. Grayson Allen had some moments, still want to see him find it, but the fact that he and Dylan Brooks combined to shoot 3 of 16 from 3 and you still find a way to win. The shots they made were there's always an opportune time to make shots, but they were just at the right times, a lot of times back-breaking for Minnesota. And I think the Suns tonight just always had an answer, especially on the road, and got some stops when they needed to as well.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, coming into today, 5 games in a row, one for the Minnesota Timberwolves, 125.4 points on average. Like we said in pregame, that would be the best in the league, and that would be like historic. How many points did they have tonight?
105.
105.
That's a steep drop-off, I would say, especially when you consider that they were playing at home.
Yep.
The other margin for me, bench points.
Yeah.
The Suns were +3 there. You're talking about a Suns team that has guys in the starting lineup because they're operating without so much of their top-end talent, and they still found a way to find that margin, flip it into a positive, while also dragging Minnesota slowly into the mud. That game was not played comfortably from them on the offensive end of the floor. I think the turnovers are indicative of that, and the Suns points off of that. But that score more than anything, a team that was averaging 125 through the last 5 games, only getting to 105 on their home court while you're depleted, says a lot about your culture and your identity.
100%. And the other stat I saw, last 8 games without Devin Booker, they were 1-7. So, it's always difficult when Book's not out there, but they found a way tonight. You had brought up in pregame the turnovers that the Wolves have been having. 14 is what you said, right?
Yep, 14 over the last 5. Yep.
They had 15 tonight. But what the Suns did was they took care of the basketball. They only had 9. And to me, that was such a huge part of this game, was taking care of the basketball, not giving Minnesota easy opportunities and gaining 10 points, a 10-point advantage in that points off of turnovers. Doing that, it's one of those little things that we talk about, but it was enough to propel you to this victory.
Well, look, we're talking a lot of numbers here. Let's just go ahead and dive into it a little early on this postgame show. By the numbers, presented by Desert Financial Credit Union, Arizona's #1 credit union, named by Forbes per usual. The only number that matters, that final score, 108 to 105. But going down the line, a good game all around from the Suns, 41-90 from the field for 45.6%. The Timberwolves shot a better percentage, but on less shots, 47% on 83 field goals made from deep. This is where the Suns really made their mark, 36.4% from deep, only on 33 attempts. That's 12 of 33. Minnesota hit 11. But of 42 shots, that's 26.2% from deep. At the free throw line, a little bit left to be desired from both teams. 70% on 20 attempts for the Suns, 69.6% for the Timberwolves on 23 attempts. Rebounds, Timberwolves better than the Suns, 46-43, but assists are tied 26 and 26. And I think that paints a picture, Espo, back to the numbers that you just said and the margins that Steven mentioned as well. This was a really even game. A game that was decided by 3 points. You don't win games like this if you're not winning the margins that you two talked about.
No, and you don't win games like this if you aren't a true team. If you're not a group that is playing together, and here's that word again, we don't have the bell tonight, but aligned, because that is what this team has been and has to be on nights like tonight. You were the less talented team. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we were all wrong. We all had the Wolves winning this game.
Thankfully.
Thankfully.
Happy to be wrong.
But I mean, that's when you know you have an actually good team. I've been hesitant to believe that because I've been cautious. We've been hurt before. But this is a good basketball team. I'm willing to say it when you win games like this that you shouldn't have. It makes me feel like anything's possible in a game against OKC.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm looking at the shooting from the field. Timberwolves were 39 of 83. So I'm looking at the box score. Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert, and Anthony Edwards were 29 of 41. So without those guys, everybody else was 10 of 42 from the field. You take Bones Highland out of that, who was 5 of 8. And the rest of the guys were 5 of 34. So that speaks to what you talk about. The top-end talent for the Timberwolves, yeah, they were more top-heavy. They had more talented guys than the Suns. But the Suns really just neutralized all of everybody else. Jaden McDaniels, Dante DiVincenzo, Naz Reid, who I mentioned already, and Bones Highland just had the game of his season. The best game he's had in Timberwolves uniform. But other than that, those numbers are crazy. Like 5 of 34 outside of those 4 guys is pretty wild. So I think that speaks to really the Suns' game plan. And when you are undermanned, how do you win a game? And that's replicable until they get their guys back.
Yeah, those 15 turnovers for Minnesota, 9 of them were live ball turnovers. So that means the Suns were very active in pressuring the basketball, if not doing so, and also getting deflections in multiple capacities, which we have more to talk to on that front. Outside of that, though, also with the turnover margin, obviously the Suns winning off of the number alone, but they were plus 10 in points off of those. 24, and Minnesota only had 14 via the Suns' 9. So, again, if you're operating without really any margin for error, and you're taking away things and you're muddying up the process of the game while also gaining possessions for yourself. They also finished this game, I think they +1 on the offensive boards. So that's another margin that they found a way to come back and ultimately win once, obviously, Rudy Gobert got ejected from the game.
Yeah, it's the third time this season with fewer than 10 turnovers for the Suns, by the way.
There you go. I think when you look at the eye test just for this game as well, they never stopped fighting. And I know that's such like a cliche, right? It's like, oh, they never stopped fighting. But like legitimately, right? They were up and then they kept their foot on the gas. Yeah. Minnesota punched back. Anthony Edwards got in a groove. Julius Randle got physical. The refs kind of allowed the players to do whatever they wanted, and Minnesota really leaned into that. And the Suns never felt like they were out of control. It never felt like they were backing down. It never felt like they were out of the fight. And that goes a long way over an 82-game season. It's why this team has so much potential when they are fully healthy, because they're doing stuff like this when they're not. And I think you can't just measure that stuff through numbers. I think statistically we could look at this game and look at all the reasons why the Suns won. At the end of the day, I think the Suns won because they showed up and they proved that they wanted it more than Minnesota. I don't care how cliche that sounds. If you watch the game, this was a team that never ever stopped putting their foot on the gas, and that's why they won.
Do you remember how we were talking about a murderer's row of games that they were up against? They're 6-4 in that so
not
far.
Not fully healthy either.
That to me, it says all these people that weren't paying attention to the Suns, all these people that said, oh, it's just an easy schedule to start the season. Well, guess what? The Phoenix Suns are here, and they're not going anywhere because they've taken this most difficult schedule in the NBA that everybody was talking about, and they're 2 games above 500 in it already.
Look, the Suns aren't going anywhere. And we're not going anywhere either. We're going to give out our dude of the night, our blue-collar boy. We're going to read your super chats and give a big thank you to everybody who showed up to our watch party out at Gila River Resorts and Casinos Wild Horse Pass. We're going to keep the good times rolling.
So you said the sun is not setting?
No, the sun's not setting. Hashtag sun's up, and we're going to keep it going on the other side of this break. The sun's not setting, and you shouldn't settle when it comes to finding a representation after an accident or a serious injury. Honestly, you need to do your research. But lucky for you, we here at PHNX did the research for you, and that's why we found the husband and wife law team. Mark and Alexis Breyer, of course, they lead the best law firm when it comes to accidents and serious injuries in the Valley. Their team brings hundreds of years of combined trial experience and multiple certified specialists in personal injury and wrongful death. Now, a certified specialist is by the State Bar of Arizona. They've certified less than 1% of all lawyers as specialists in wrongful death and injury litigation. Look, they also want to make you promises, guarantees for you and all their clients that you can cancel your fee agreement at any time for any reason. You can receive at least as much in your pocket as they receive for their fee every single time, and you may speak with one of their lawyers as often as you choose about anything you'd like to discuss. So if you've had a serious injury or you just want to be prepared, call the husband and wife law team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website at the link in our show notes and tell them PHNX sent you.
Look, you can have a serious accident when it comes to your electric bill if you're not careful, especially in the summer here. I've gotten smarter, though, with a smart thermostat because I said, you know what, I'm too lazy to sit here and try to figure out when I have to change this and when it has to be set at this. And no, I said, you know what, smart thermostat's where it's at, and it's helped. It's helped immensely. In fact, I caught a surge in my power bill because of my smart thermostat. Ooh. And you can save money too. APS can help you do that. When you upgrade to a smart thermostat, you can cut costs year after year. And APS customers now can get a new smart thermostat for $0. And last time I checked, that's free in my mind. So you can get that at aps.com/sale. You got to remember shipping and taxes are not included. So you do got to pay a little something, but other restrictions may apply as well. But get your smart thermostat today.
Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button for the PHNX Suns moving to 2-0 against Campman and the Minnesota Timberwolves 108-105. Thank you all so much who came out here to Gila River Resorts and Casinos Wild Horse Pass, the Upper Deck Kitchen and Bar. Of course, Rome, Bear the Blader, Groundhog Mama, Cogs, the whole crew coming out here. Everybody who decided to come celebrate a PHNX Suns victory with us. Thank you very, very much. And thank you to all of our members as well. You can become a member today by hitting that join button where the subscribe button usually is, but I know you've hit the subscribe button, so it's not there anymore. Hit that like button as well. Speaking of members, Boosty has been a member for 1 month, and if you're a member for a month, you get a prepaid super chat along with all the other emojis and content that you get, like our member-only mailbag. And Boosty says, Colin is a dog. Clutch free throws to seal the game. And PHNX, thanks for the great coverage as always. Fellas, big shout out to Colin Gillespie. The shot wasn't falling early in the game for him, Gil, but he stepped to the line when it counted, knocked him down.
And we said it when he stepped to the line when he got fouled. Also, first smart play, great pass, inbound pass from Royce O'Neal. That was probably tempting to shoot that layup because it was there, but he dribbled it out, burnt another second and a half, got fouled, and we were like, if there's anybody we trust at this line, don't want to jinx it, it's Colin Gillespie. He stepped in very calmly, coolly, hit both of those free throws. They played good defense on the final possession, but it's not possible if he doesn't make those free throws.
100%. And there was some question, why doesn't he take the layup? Well, because that extra second could have made the difference. I mean, when you kick it out, tip it out to Naz Reid, he might get that shot off if you haven't done that, if you make that. So smart play, and that's what Colin's been known for lately, is just making the right play for you.
Yeah, sometimes the right play is calling your own number. Colin calling his own number. The pull-up three continues to be one that separates and kind of elevates his game to a new stratosphere in a sustainable manner. Guys aren't going to be up at the level of the screen, or even if the switch is not a aggressive switch, if it's a soft switch, and he comes off the screen. That's what it was. It was that from Minnesota.
We'll call soft switches squishes from now on.
Squishes, yeah. I like it.
That goes crazy.
Yeah, anytime he comes off and he sees a soft squish, he's coming off of it and he's finding the pull-up pockets. And he's very comfortable getting into those spots. I vividly remember when Julius Randle on the other side of the screen is not at the level, So Colin comes off, and it's almost like a high drop coverage more than it is a switch. He just pulls up, dots his eye, and then another one is actually against drop coverage. It comes off, does the same in timely moments in that third quarter and early fourth quarter stretch.
I want to throw. Come on, hit that like button. I need 250 tonight.
Whoa,
250.
That's it.
I need you to hit that. Yeah, I'm gonna make it easy on him.
This is the first. Wait. Time out. This is the first Suns win in Minnesota in 2 years. I think at least 2 years, if not longer than that.
Is 300 okay?
300 is much more like
fine. 300. Make it happen, people.
This is a celebratory moment.
Look, a very celebratory moment, including from Jake Flipper with a $20 super chat. Thank you, Jake. Says, I'm this close to renaming my kid Colin.
Or Connor. Neither one works.
Why not both, right? Colin or Connor, just name it both.
I just pray you consult with the mother.
Gotta ask the boss. But that would be the cool.
Sometimes you just have to do what you have to do.
The kid would be the coolest kid out, though. For sure.
Yeah,
it's true.
Colin Flipper, I like that. Math to the power of Joe with a $1.99 super chat says the ant dance really made me want this one. Woohoo! That's big time. Be calm. We'll get to your super chat later in the show in your designated super chat area. But it's great to see that you're not in prison.
Did you just do the Mario woohoo? Woohoo! All right, I like it.
It's a me.
It's a me. I'm Mario.
Okay. Look,
I can do it. You can't.
From Mario to Mark, let's get into our dude of the night, presented by, of course, Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you. At Gila River Resorts and Casinos, visit playedgila.com for more details. I gave it away before we even got into it. It is the one, the only Mark Williams, not his son's high or his career high, which Gil and I learned is 38 points earlier today. But by my money, his best game as a Phoenix Sun in just 29 minutes, the hashtag plan special, 22 points, 7 of 9 from the field, 1 of 1 from deep, 7 of 9 from the free throw line, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. 3 of those rebounds are offensive. Mark Williams was all over the place. And Steven, to me, if you turned all the numbers off, you turned the box score off, and you just watched this game, Mark Williams played like a man possessed tonight.
He did, and he needed to do so because the Suns just don't have someone else that can match up with Rudy Gobert to the extent that he can. But also, in turn, not just match up, because it's not just that he's out there to keep up with him. He's putting pressure on him as well. EJ's mentioned something that we've talked about since the summer, and Mark Williams being one of the faster bigs. After the Lakers game, we tweeted from the main account that it was Usain Bolt in his rim running because of how quick he gets from point A to point B in terms of that going defense to offense. But Mark is just very, very, very solid. He doesn't do anything that puts him in risk or harms way more often than not. But in turn, especially now that he's gotten comfortable but his teammates are finding him more, he's able to now put pressure on defenses the same way that he does when the Suns on the defensive end. And that's a game changer for the Suns, who have seen bottom third level center production the last 2.5 seasons now.
You got to love the big veto making the big baguette wave the white flag
there you go.
Tonight. It was a nice thing to watch Mark just go out there and say, you know what, I'm going to be the best center on the floor this evening. He was catching lobs. He was smart on the boards early on because, I mean, pretty much everybody gives up height to Rudy Gobert, but he was intelligent in the way he was approaching those rebounds, was doing the little things. The big veto put his stamp on the game tonight and took care of business.
And that's a conversation that we were having specific to that matchup with Rudy Gobert. There are very few starting centers in the NBA who kind of have the physical profile to match what Rudy Gobert brings on a night-to-night basis, and that's why we've seen him win as many Defensive Player of the Years as we've seen him play. But Mark Williams really made him work and obviously frustrated him to a point where he made a quite frankly, a dirty play and was rightly ejected from that. But to see his activity on the boards, to see that his teammates trust him, he talked about how they set him up. He has good hands. He makes him look good when you pass him the ball or throw him a lob. And he just does so much with the little minutes that he plays, and also to have 22 points on 9 shot attempts. That, like, what more could you ask for from your big man?
Well, and just some really creative finishing around the rim, some diving to the rim as well.
The
that brought a lot
layup.
of the backwards layup, the attempted backwards put back. Just a lot of gravity brought in there. And when you have Gobert, he's going to hang out around the rim. But when he has somebody that he has to worry about, it's very easy for you to kind of take advantage of the other stuff that's going around there. That's the gravity that Mark Williams brings. He also brings toughness. I think that's probably been the most underrated thing. We've talked about the motor. We've talked about how fast he could be, how athletic he could be, lob finishing. Mark's a tough dude, man. Mark almost every single game takes a fall that makes me go, no.
Yeah.
And then he pops up. and he's fine.
He had
And-
multiple of those tonight.
and-
We
and
made
that's what I'm
eye
saying.
contact.
We're
across
looking at
the
each
table.
other because obviously, like, there's this story, and it's rightfully earned over his career that he's been injury prone. But I think a lot of times you hear of an injury prone guy, people think, oh, they're soft, oh, they're not fit.
Yeah.
This guy battles every single night, every single possession. To the point that, Rudy Gobert, a multiple-time defensive player of the year, was like, I can't handle this dude. I got to elbow him. And then he's on the ground. He gets up, and he plays the rest of the game, and he plays it well. This is a guy that has been just such a solid center in every single aspect the Suns wanted, and even more than what they needed tonight. I think it's time for a Love to Play presented by Arizona Lottery.
Good.
It's got to be the 3 play and gift today with Arizona Lottery. 1 for 1 from deep. Espo, for the first time in his career, Mark Williams hit a 3-pointer.
He was 0 of 4 coming into tonight from deep, and it wasn't even I was shocked that he took it. I was like, how did Mark wind up out there, right? I don't think we've seen a number 15 hit a 3 like that since Danny Manning back in the day with this Suns team. I did not expect it. He hit it, and it was a beautiful thing. He's now shooting 20% from deep for his career.
You know what?
And 100% as a Sun.
100% as a Sun. I was going to say, he shot it confidently, didn't think twice, hit a 3-pointer first of his career. Suns win by 3. Just saying.
It was definitely needed.
That play was awesome. That play was amazing. It's unexpected. There's a play at the end of the first quarter that I want to call more attention to. Also, Iguodala, as well as Kyle Gillespie, making decisions off script on the defensive end to sustain a stop and close that first quarter in the way in which they did to give them some separation and momentum going into the second. Watch also on this play. After Colin goes to help Jamari Bowie, I think it was, on the roll, also Iguodala goes over to help Colin as he leaves his man, and then in turn is in rotation after he cuts someone off from taking the 3. Then he switches again with Colin Gillespie, runs, I think it was Naz Reid off the 3-point line, and then trails Naz Reid all the way to the basket, contests at the basket, no foul, and grabs the board. All of this happening within like 15, 14 seconds. That's something you don't see often. I just want to call some attention to that part of it because the 3 was awesome. His 3-point celebration was pretty cool, too. He was waiting to kind of break that out, and he had that opportunity. So I'm not taking anything away from Mark, but I just want to bring something else to the forefront, too, with that.
I was going to say 2 more. 1, no love for Grayson Allen's sidestep.
The travel.
Step through.
The dancing with the
said-
stars.
He said if James Harden can get away with 18, I can get away with 1.
Look at that.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, again, if it's called in high school, okay, that's a travel. In the NBA, that's a legal play.
No love from these other 2 for dropping a hell of a movie reference.
Thank you.
Sorry, my bad.
MVP.
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 I was going to say that, but then there's the segment at the beginning of the fourth quarter when that group went up 7, and we were like, just sustain this lead right now, but they go up 7. I think that was everything they did in that quick, minute and 45 seconds is worth noting, too.
I kind of want to give a continued shout-out to Oso Iguodala off of what you said, Steven. 19 minutes for him tonight, 10 points, a double-digit scoring effort from Oso. 5 of 6 from the field, including a nice little Kareem Abdul-Jabbar hook shot there. 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal, a +9 in his 19 minutes tonight. The Suns had really great center play for pretty much the entirety of this game, and that against this team in the Minnesota Timberwolves, even if they're down Rudy Gobert, still have Naz Reid, still have Julius Randle, that's a really impressive feat and makes me feel good about what the center rotation looks like, even in its current iteration.
Yeah, a great defense from Oso, smart passes. It was a game where you go, and this is why you keep Oso Iguodala in the rotation. And you feel pretty good about that center rotation. I mean, Nick Richards didn't see a minute tonight, I don't believe. But when you look at what Oso and Mark are doing together, would I still like a third center? Yes. But I was very impressed with what they did tonight.
And that was kind of what we said on Friday. We kind of just said, this just isn't an Oso game. And that was just the deal, But tonight it was a better matchup for him, and he was able to kind of show exactly why he shines. There were a couple good reads that he made that didn't result in assists, but he made the right read, the right pass. And you can just see the type of cerebral player that he is. He showed it in college, and now he's starting to piece it together at the NBA level. So like you said, it'd be good to have another guy as part of that rotation who gives you a little more variety or flexibility depending on matchups. But in a game like this, which there are more often than not, you don't see the Rockets all the time, it's perfect to show and showcase what he does.
Chandler breeds cerebral basketball minds. Me and Oso.
There you go.
We put them in the same category, Steven. But
and Marquette guys. We
Yeah.
both went there too. So.
See?
Just saying.
Steven, what impresses me the most about Oso is that when he finds like a little pocket or a little groove that he can succeed in a game, he really like dives into that specific thing. Mm-hmm. Even though he only had 2 assists tonight, I think it was Bear, the Blader, who was with us over at our watch party, was saying there are a lot of Oso passes that were not leading to assists. That continues to be a really fun thing to watch him really dissect the game with every time he's on the court.
And that's why I just harped on seeing the vision with them even through the rough patches early on before Mark Williams was available for them, or before he was available to start for them. It wasn't that Oso wasn't playing well. It was that just some of the spots he was in and some of the lineups weren't the most conducive to his skill set. Now that the role reversal or role changes has kind of surfaced and sustained now, he looks a lot better. And it's largely because the lineups he's in are much better suited for him. The matchups he's going up against are much better suited for him. And he's also playing with an air of confidence that's allowing for him to be free. He's not thinking out there. He's just reacting. And when you go from, as a player, thinking and having to worry about if you're doing the right things to just reacting, that's when you're going to be at your best version of yourself in a sustainable manner. And Oso's been one of the highest impact bigs in terms of switching on defense. He's putting that in tandem with finding ways to get active on the glass, and then on the offensive end, again, just making the right passes. Not always leading the assists, but sometimes the assist is making the correct decision for the next person to do so, and you just don't get in a box score stat for that.
Look, Oso Guidaro, clearly a contender for our blue-collar boy of the night, but does he get it? Is it maybe somebody else who put in some great effort? Put your predictions down in the chat on who you think is our blue-collar boy of the night. We are still going to keep the good times rolling out here at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Wild Horse Pass, fresh off of a watch party and fresh off of the PHNX Suns, beating the Minnesota Timberwolves 108-105. We're going to keep the good times rolling on the other side of this break. I'm going to need to roll into a Circle K pretty soon. I'm running low on gas. My commute to work got longer this year, but I know that Circle K has my back because every time that I fill up, I'm getting money off just because I joined the Inner Circle. Now, how hard is it to get in the Inner Circle? How exclusive is it? Well, as much as I'd like to tell you it's special just for me or Espo or Gil or Steven, no, it's for everybody. All you have to do is download the Circle K app, put in your phone number, put in your email, and you're instantly saving money. Not just on gas every time that you fill up, but also on food and drinks like a 79-cent Polar Pop or a 99-cent Froster, which is what I personally go to because I love that slushy taste and that slushy feel, but $5 meal deals as well. 2 slices of pizza, 20-ounce Coca-Cola or Polar Pop for 44 ounces. Keep your mouth shut, Espo. $4 meal deal. Circle K breakfast sandwich, hash browns, and more. You can get everything you want at Circle K, plus some absolutely elite snacks like Melissa puts it in the chat. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details.
I can't help you with that slushy feel, but I can help you with holiday gift giving if you'd like. We can tell you about
do these live.
Friends at Aura Frames. Have you been trying to figure out a personalized gift this Christmas or holiday season? I know you guys have. I mean, we all have difficulty shopping, let's be honest. And Aura Frames have just that for you because you can actually preload photos onto this frame and video before you send it out to your loved one. So Gil, I know you've moved away from home. I know Steven, you have too. You want to send a personalized gift to somebody in your family? You can do it with our friends at Aura Frames. Upload unlimited photos and videos. You can personalize your gift. Like I said, you can share photos and videos easily from wherever you are. So if you want to send a bunch of photos about your bachelor lives out here in Phoenix to family, you can. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $30 or $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver mat frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using the promo code PHNX at checkout. That's Aura Frames, AURA frames.com, promo code PHNX. That deal is exclusive to you, our viewers, and frames sell up fast, so order yours now. To get it in time for the holidays, support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply like everything in life, and don't send your bachelor photos at home. So.
There's no bachelor photos for him. There's bachelor photos for him. But look, the PHNX Suns, they're married to the game, and they beat the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight 108-105.
If I could get 10 quick seconds.
I don't know if we really got that in the budget. I'm
Ready,
sorry.
set, go.
So, Miss Melissa in the chat, we're talking about Elite Next. Talking about elite people. It's my girlfriend, in case you didn't know.
Yeah.
Working on a project working directly with the Chicago Bulls.
Ooh.
So pretty cool for her. Everybody sent her some MVPs in the chat. That's big time. But it's also just another day that ends in Y because it's not the first time she's done that.
MVP.
MVP. MVP.
I will allow it even though it's the Bulls.
Well, I'm about to say, that's got to be great for you considering it's your favorite team in the whole world, the Chicago Bulls.
So we got Blue Collar Boy. What we got going on next?
We do, but before we get there, we got some big news in the PHNX world. We got some new hats. We got new hats, baby. Look at that beautiful PHNX Suns hat. That one looks really nice. We got 3 new Brandon Bills designs featuring their new canvas model. You can visit gophnx.com. Check out the locker for the latest merch on your favorite sports network in Arizona. You got so many great things, but as a big hat guy myself, I cannot wait to get my hands on these now. Quantities are limited. So act now before supplies run out. They make a great gift for that PHNX or just that sports fan in your life.
I got to tell you, I just bought a bunch of them, so you better hurry up because they might be sold out.
Get out there before Espo buys all of them.
Espo applying that pressure.
Look, but you can't buy chemistry, you can't buy culture, and you can't buy being a blue-collar boy. There were a lot of guys that could have won it tonight, but this one, courtesy of recommendation from the freckled Mamba himself, and it goes to double zeros. Royce O'Neal in 33 minutes tonight. He drops 11 points, 4-6 from the field and 3 of 5 from deep. That's awesome, but it was everything else that he did. 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block. 2 of those rebounds offensive. That block, I'm pretty sure, happened against Rudy Gobert or another big man for the Timberwolves. Steven, as our czar of blue-collarness, did Royce deserve it tonight?
1,000%. I want to just provide a little bit of clarity as far as what it is to be blue-collar. So
please do.
Naturally, it's the hardcore, rough, and rugged nature of guys being able to do scrappy things that impact winning and impact the margins for your team. That's kind of at the surface level, at face value point. The next layer of it is being able to step up and be adaptable in your role for your team. So the Suns without Devin Booker and Jalen Green and even Grayson Allen in each of these last 3 games in some capacity, 18 assists, 4 turnovers. Now, he's run a lot more pick and roll. He's been initiating offense a little bit more, if not initiating points of attack for them. He's just been making the right decision. It's not always resulting in a direct assist for him. Sometimes he's just making a pass that creates a rotation when nothing else is happening. And like we talk about with offense, 2 to the ball, paint touch, or make a rotation in some capacity. Royce O'Neal is not the guy that's getting 2 to the ball, nor is he always getting a paint touch off of his own will, but he's creating rotations for guys to go and play off of, and that is allowing for the Suns to find the groove. Now all of a sudden, Grayson's able to play off a closeout. Now all of a sudden, Jamari Bouye is able to attack a closeout. Jordan Goodwin's able to attack a closeout. These are the little things that matter, especially when you're operating without your top-end talents, because someone has to make those right decisions, and someone also has to be willing to move the basketball and not allow for it to stick.
Yeah, so we paged him before the game, you and I, Espo, and he answered the call. Answered the call, and I mean, obviously plus minus is a cloudy stat. There's a lot of context that's with that, but he was one of 2 starters with the positives and the positives. He was a +1 in his 33 minutes on the floor. His 5 assists led the team, and and on the night where we talked about again, like they're doing the scoring by committee, 6 guys in double figures, leading score with 22. A lot of different guys were getting the ball moving, but he had 5 assists to lead the team and also 8 boards, 2 on the offensive end. So, he did a little bit of everything, which this season, the good version of Royce O'Neal, obviously making Friday a distant memory, is doing a little bit of everything. And to your point, Steven, he did all that tonight.
Yeah, Royce O'Neal picked up that orange courtesy phone like we had asked him to. But I am what the doctors like to call a narcissist, so I'm going to make this about me.
Yeah, please.
Perfect.
I told you he was going to hit 3 3-pointers. He went 3 of 5, so there you go.
Hey. You should have bet on it.
I should have, but then he wouldn't have done it.
You know what? That is fair enough. You mentioned leading the team in assists at 5 assists. Also, there are only 2 players that grabbed 8 rebounds for the Suns tonight. That was Royce O'Neal and Ryan Dunn. Royce O'Neal grabbed the most defensive rebounds out of anybody on the court, including Mark Williams, who had himself a great game. Just all in all, love this type of performance from Royce O'Neal, especially when he's doing stuff on the margins. Usually it's like, okay, he'll get you some margin stuff or he'll get you a couple of threes. When he's hitting on all of those cylinders, he's such a valuable player. And again, this is still somebody who's playing up in the pecking order. This is not a guy who was slotted into the starting lineup when this team is fully healthy. It's Grayson Allen and then Dylan Brooks at the 4, and we'll talk about Brooks here in a second. But the fact that you're getting this out of Royce when he's playing 33 minutes, which was also tied for the team high with Grayson Allen and Colin Gillespie, just makes me salivate at the thought of him being in a more compact and efficient role off of the bench and where he is at in his career. That might be one of the more valuable bench pieces in the NBA when he could eventually slot back there.
Yeah, stuff that he's doing right now, especially like you're thinking in higher leverage moments down the stretch of the season, because as this team is playing, the more they continue to do this, the more you think they're going to be playing into April and maybe even beyond. I could see him coming in and swaying the entire momentum of a game with a couple of positive plays. He strings positive plays together, and that's what a veteran who's played. You know, it's funny watching him and Grayson Allen and Mike Conley and Rudy Gobert all out there. Reminded me of the old Jazz teams, but he's played in a lot of big moments earlier stages of his career. He's seen a lot of these things. So when those times come, I can see him being the type of guy to do the things that he's done today, as you said, Eric, in a smaller role and sway the possession, the momentum of a game just by making a couple positive plays.
And a couple of those positive plays is what we've been harping on since before you got here, but especially in this window since you've been here.
Yeah.
Can you please get Mark Williams involved in the offense?
Yeah.
I don't know if over the last 2 weeks anybody's been better involving Mark in the offense than Royce O'Neal himself. I'm almost positive he leads the team in lobs thrown to, successfully thrown to Mark Williams, which
successfully.
which matters. Yes, that distinction is very important. That I don't think that's by happenstance. I think Royce is not the playmaker that Colin or Devin or Jalen, any of those guys are, but he has specific playmaking skills that allow for him to engage and involve someone like Mark Williams. And again, those kind of interconnectivity type of tandems in the midst of a rotation matter a ton.
It helps that Royce knows he can't make a layup either, so he's got to throw it up to Mark. Can I recognize one other blue-collar boy tonight? Ryan Dunn with the 4 assists to go along with his 8 rebounds. It was a difficult night shooting, obviously. It was only one of 8.
It was difficult shooting layups.
Yeah, it was a tough one.
But he also found ways to help on the defensive end, on the offensive glass. 3 of those rebounds were offensive, and then those 4 assists. So even though on an off night for him, he found ways to still have a positive impact at times.
Yeah, so that's huge for a young player to be able to still do that, you know, especially coming off of missed time. He's just getting back into it. So, you know, I joke around about him missing layups, but I think his timing is off still a little bit. And I trust him to make those more than I don't. So I think he'll be fine.
He's been shooting better at the rim than he shot tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, he only took 1 3 tonight, so he was 1 of 7 from inside the 3-point line. And a lot of these were point-blank bunnies. Now, he missed a lot more than them than you would really like any player to do, but they were nice open looks off good cuts and good reads. Steven, that's going to fall for him on a majority of nights. I think what a lot of people look at is we haven't seen that step when it comes to shooting the ball, and I think that's where a lot of people are disappointed in Ryan Dunn this season.
I mean, yes, but as I said last season, it's less about him missing those. Is he taking them in the rhythm of the offense to where he's not passing up advantage, and now all of a sudden you get a terrible quality shot because he passed up an A+ look, a green look for a borderline red look, someone taking a contested 2 with 6 seconds on the clock. That's not the instance. The one opportunity he had that was created for him to take a corner 3, he took it and didn't hesitate. Now, he didn't make it, but I think the fact that he's just taking them in rhythm to the point where we haven't even thought about him passing up shots really at any point this season, especially relative to the percentage, which is why the conversation is happening, matters. For me, though, the quick decisions, man. He never catches it and holds it now. He's catching it and he's making a move. He's getting to his left-hand drive, which he's really good with, and then making a decision off of that. Or he's skipping it to someone at the top of the key, one of their better playmakers, and he's trailing his pass immediately into a screen, a la Mikal Bridges, screen under, stay under. They want to switch it naturally, but because he's screening under and staying under, and now he's into the roll, he's either getting it on the short roll, and now he's playing into that floater or a corner skip or a alley-oop pass to the rim, and they're keeping a flow with these quick decisions. And for him, if he's not going to be a three-point shooter, he has to be quick with those, and I think he's really ingrained that into his DNA as a player.
To Steven's point about being just a three-point threat, right? Like the fact that there's so many guys who we talk about, they need to become a shooter or develop that. But the first part is the mentality of just shooting it. So the fact that he does that is a big step. And I'm thinking back to his days at Virginia, and like there was a point in time where I never thought he'd be taking shots because like it was awful. Like his perimeter shooting was terrible. So for him to be at this point now to where he's confidently shooting it and opposing defenses kind of have to respect it to a certain extent. That means he's on par where he needs to be with the development, and a reminder that it's still early stage in his career. Year 3, year 4, I'm confident in him making those shots.
Well, and Espo, I think now that he's not a starting forward on this team, he is coming in off the bench. There's a little bit less pressure on him to contribute offensively, and I think every time he comes in the game, you could still see a tangible impact on the defensive end and then also on the rebounds and assists too.
Yeah, and that's what you expected from him when he came in. And as long as he's doing those things still, you can deal with some offensive ebbs and flows from him. It's when he's not doing those little things and you become a net negative for a team that is problematic. But overall, he's out there having positive impact. And I think you got to keep in mind, too, he's coming off a wrist injury. Yeah. So that's still going to impact things until he can get more comfortable with it and wind up finding that rhythm for himself, especially around the rim. It's bound to happen from time to time.
Look, we got a couple more players that we need to get into as the Phoenix Suns pulled out a very, very strong victory against the Minnesota Timberwolves. We're going to keep this rolling on the other side of our final break. If you are a Suns fan, a Mercury fan, or just a fan of having great places to put your money, you got to check out Mountain America Credit Union, the exclusive home of the Suns card and the exclusive home of the Mercury card as well. Now, you can get these elite cards from the official credit union of the Phoenix Suns and the Phoenix Mercury, available as both a debit and a credit card. You can pair that debit card with the My Style checking account with perks just for you. I'm talking identity protection, telehealth access, mobile phone protection, restaurant deals, offer on travel and events, and so much more. You can also do it as a credit card, a no annual fee credit card that are available as low rate, cashback, or rewards cards options. Mountain America is here to guide you forward on your financial journey. So go get your Suns or Mercury card today. Apply at any Arizona branch. Visit macu.com/Suns to learn more. Insured by NCUA. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Loans on approved credit.
Look, we're sitting here. We got Monday Night Football on that you can see. We're watching that. We're going to be watching the Suns in the NBA Cup, and you know what makes it a little bit more entertaining, Gil? Our friends, well, that too, but our friends at Bet365 make it more entertaining. They're live in-game betting. They pioneered it, so why wouldn't you do it with them? Plus, 90 million people worldwide are part of the Bet365 family, so they obviously know what they're doing and how to do it well. But breaking news, from our friends at Bet365. New customers are going to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. You got to sign up using that promo code PHNX365. You know why it's that. Deposit $10, place a bet of $5, and you're going to get that $150 in bonus bets whether you win or lose. So if you're like Eric and I, you're still getting those bonus bets. Bonus bets can be used on spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. With Bet365, must be 21 and over, physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, needs help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text NEXT STEP to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov.
I got a question. So I haven't been able to follow this Monday Night Football game, but I put $10,000 on Jalen Hurts to not turn the ball over twice in one possession.
Surely that didn't happen,
-2
right?
million. I'm good, right?
Surely that didn't happen.
What was that? What was that phone number again?
It's 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Trust me, I got it on speed dial.
Your next step is to stop betting.
Look, your next step is actually to hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button for Phoenix Suns victory. And, of course, shout out to everybody who showed up to our watch party out here at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, Wild Horse Pass. The food is always immaculate. Tons of TVs, good vibes, great drinks, everything you could possibly want for your sports watching experience. We even had Rome say, you know what, I'm going to go hit the slots downstairs after this because why not? You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos.
I'm disappointed. You need to do something for me. Yeah, I'm looking at you. You watching right now. We're only halfway to our like goal. You guys are slacking tonight. You are not aligned. You are not putting in the effort like the Phoenix Suns. I expect better.
I have a question for you guys.
Does that work, by the way? Or should I?
Sometimes, okay, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I guess we're going to find out here if it does work. I got a question for everybody, and I'll start with you, Steven. Mm-hmm. How did you feel about Dillon Brooks' game tonight?
I mean, he played like someone that is not 100%, if I'm being honest. But I think he also found his pockets of impact. I think the late shot clock makes from him continue to stand out. Action breaks down. You got to play one-on-one. Sometimes he's able to trigger a switch. Either way, he's getting to his spots, taking his shots in the rhythm at which he wants to. And those late clock attempts that he just made are hitting like daggers, even if it's not the fourth quarter when they're happening, because Minnesota's thinking they're getting ready to get a stop. They're about to string together multiple stops and playing in transition. And instead, they got to take the ball out the net, and the Suns' defense continues to be set. So, I mean, obviously, he left a little bit to be desired for sure. The start to the game wasn't the best in terms of shot selection, in my opinion. But I also acknowledge that at the same time, you can't get the shots that he's making at the end in the decision-making moments without him taking those ones in the beginning of the game.
Am I crazy? And the answer can be yes.
Yes.
My doctors say so.
Yes.
But did he not have the lift that he usually did on his three-point shot tonight? It seemed not as fluid as usual. He was 2 for 8 from deep. So
yeah, you commented on that. Like the first couple that he missed, I don't remember how many of his first that he missed because he ended up making. I know he was 1.1 for 7 and he finished 2 for 8 from 3, but he did look a little bit slow as far as that goes, or a little bit off as far as with the Achilles soreness. But 7 of 20 from the field. Only person that took more shots than him in this game was Anthony Edwards, who finished with 40. But a lot of that is just by design. When the two guys who would be taking the most shots aren't available, he kind of has to just step up into that role. And, we kind of remark about it sometimes when you see him make a tough shot. That means the next possession he's probably going to take another one. But you kind of have to live with that. One, because it's just, that's just the Dillon Brooks experience. Yep. But the other part of it, I also think that it's just by design. Like somebody has to take the shots. There's nobody else there to take them. And you live with it. There's a short list of people who I'd rather take than that, and I think he'll be more efficient, especially if he gets closer to 100% health-wise. And again, they're coming late in the shot clock too, so it's kind of like a time possession thing, like we talk about in football. Like when you're under man, you're playing a tight rotation. It's having the ball and having the lead, and you trust a late shot clock shot from him more than anything else.
By the way, I wanted to thank everybody for cheering.
Yeah,
for
cheering
my
your take.
You.
Somebody down there won a lot of money. Look, the thing with Dillon Brooks is that, and we say it all the time, you're going to live and you're going to die by Dillon Brooks, especially when you have Jalen Green and Devin Booker out, and sometimes even when you only have one of those guys out. And overall, you've been living with Dillon Brooks, right? Course. A 7 of 20 night, I think that's just sometimes par for the course with him, especially when he's number one options. He's garnering the best defender on Minnesota, but there are times where I don't want to then just gloss over some of the poor decision-making. Now, the end of shot clock, the ISO situations, we've gone over the numbers. We've been like, yes, this guy's awesome. We want him to take those shots. It's great that he hits some of them. Sometimes he takes really, really, really bad shots. Or the team knows he's going to take a bad shot on defense. They send 2 at him right when he's up in the air, and he turns the ball over. Mm-hmm. And as much as I love what we've seen from Dillon Brooks, I would like to see him rein that in a little bit, even when he is the number one option. I understand he needed to take 20 shots tonight. Right. I just would have liked if the team or himself found a better way to get those shots in rhythm, because there were a couple of times where he just got completely stonewalled in the post, and then he threw up the shot anyway, and there wasn't a lot of ball movement on that. And he wasn't the only one to be a victim of that. Down the stretch, Colin Gillespie took a shot without moving the ball. Grayson was 5 of 16 from the field and 1 of 8 from deep tonight. His cold stretch continued, so it's not all on Dillon, but it's certainly a pattern that I'd like for him to maybe tweak a bit as we continue to see him as the number one option.
Yeah, I definitely understand that, but again, to my point that I was bringing up, it's just like last season where I can't remember who it was that we were talking about, but speaking to you can't get the make. Well, it was the inverse of Ryan Dunn. Ryan Dunn was passing up shots last season, and we said we wanted to see him get to a point where he was just taking them, and you live with those results, but you have to take those to get to what you want to get to offensively. With Dillon, he has to take it. It's the inverse. You have to take those shots, but sometimes they're not always going to go in, especially for the types of shots that he wants to take and the way that he has to get to those. It's not the most rhythmic in terms of everybody else being in a rhythm. It's more so in the truest sense one-on-one. But if it's gonna come with him making those daggers and those shots that he needs to, but also if it's coming on the percentage that is coming on the season as a whole, coming into today still above 50% on the pull-up twos, and we talked about per extra dribble that he takes, how that percentage seemingly goes up, and the later it gets in the clock, the higher his percentage goes as well. I genuinely would just take that as when it's coming the way that it has this season in particular. Yeah. If it was last season and the percentages were very up and down, and honestly on the down more than it was the up. Yes, you want to mitigate that, but the fact that he's operating in this space this season with the pieces that have not been around, I don't put too much into it. But I what you're saying is warranted for sure.
He's the ultimate no, yes guy,
Sure.
and that is
Sure.
that is to your point, the Dillon Brooks experience that you brought up. But I don't want to take away what makes Dillon, because without
what this
him
team is made of.
and what he's doing, this team isn't who they are.
Yeah.
So I'm at the point where I'm like, all right, I'll deal with some of those bad shots because it leads to a lot of the other stuff, like you were saying.
And the other thing for me is with what Jordan I was mentioning over the last month now, and also Devin Booker, they don't bat an eye at the shots he takes because they see him put the work in for those shots. They see him put in that work profusely. He's beating everybody to the gym, and he's the last one leaving oftentimes because he's taking those shots in particular, so it trickulates to the game.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You take the good with the bad, and it's been very few times where I've seen the body language says a lot, right? It's not like you see guys, the other four guys are hanging their head, like, why are they doing this? And very few times are the shots that they're taking, however bad they might be or low quality, they're not really disrupting the flow of the game or the offense. And I feel it's him just kind of going completely off script to just do this and just call his own number. I think it would be a bigger issue. But again, the biggest part of it, he's doing it out of necessity. And I wonder what it's going to look like once this team and this offense gets at full strength.
Yeah, 100%. Look, I don't want Dillon Brooks to stop being Dillon Brooks.
Yeah.
And I understand that you got to live with some of that. I'm not saying he needed to take 12 shots tonight, right? Especially with all the guys that are out. I just think that there were a couple of possessions, and he wasn't the only guy, like I mentioned, where you're like, I would have liked to at least move the ball around a little bit first. And then, okay, if we have 7 seconds left in the shot clock, let's give it to Dillon Brooks and let Dillon Brooks cook instead of at 18 seconds in the shot clock. Look, I think, unfortunately, we're still sitting in the midst of a Grayson Allen slump, which really sucks. He's hit, I think, 2 threes since he's been back from injury, maybe 3. It hasn't been great for Grayson Allen. Now, he did hit a tough shot, and he also was able to rack up 4 assists tonight and 3 rebounds, but it's going to be hard for this team to emulate, a relatively decent offensive performance going forward without Devin Booker or Jalen Green if Grayson Allen doesn't start hitting some shots.
Yeah, I find it encouraging, though, that we were saying the same thing about Royce. He found his way out of it tonight. What is this, game 2 back for Grayson? Game 3
Third
back?
game back.
Excuse me, for Grayson. So, yeah, rhythm is going to be
3
something.
of 22 from 3 in that stretch, by the way.
Yeah, not great.
What I do like, though, is he's being aggressive going to the hoop.
Right. Yeah.
And that is something that I think can help him break out because he's not just settling for the 3. He's trying to be impactful with it. Not tonight, too many fouls, obviously, but I think that we're on the verge of a breakout from Grayson from 3.
Yeah, it's the persistence, right? Like, he's still going at it. He's still doing other things. He's not saying, again, like hanging head. And that's not the memo of anybody on this team, right? Something's not going well. You're not hanging your head. 2 guys are injured. You're not hanging your head. Next man up, next shot, short memory, whatever. So we're seeing that with him. And there's some things that we saw from him tonight, drawing fouls, some ingenuity, some drives, and things of that nature. Again, kind of just sticking with it, which makes me believe, not even just being an optimist, that he's closer to that breakthrough than just still letting this affect him as the season goes on.
Yeah, you both brought up the point that I was going to bring up. This game tonight, the Suns, the 3rd most drives of the season with 58. They scored 50 points as a team from those drives. Yeah. Grayson Allen was accountable for 18 of those drives. You know how many points they scored from Grayson Allen drives tonight? Anybody got a guess?
36.
20. So you score a point or more per drive.
Yeah.
Every time Grayson Allen put the ball on the deck and got a paint touch or got to the rim. That's the mindset that I enjoy and appreciate from him because it makes him more than just a shooter. And I think they can't have him be in a space where he's only a shooter because they're not getting the most out of their offense without that. We talk about the value of the paint touch. He's been arguably their best paint touch guy comprehensively this season. And I think the way that they create the space for him to get paint touches is what matters most. A lot of times, sometimes you think about drives, you think about just one-on-one and someone winning. That's part of it, but if you don't have to worry about help at times because of the ways that the Suns are dynamic with their spacing and they move layers of help around, it often creates a gap that you can attack. And if as a driver, if you don't have to worry about someone being in a certain spot because you see the opening there, you can go for it with a different mindset than, okay, I can maybe test this, but I know that guy's going to help, so I can only go so hard to that spot. When no one's there, you can just blow by, get to the rim, or at least pull someone in, and he gets good offense for them from it.
And they were using Grayson to initiate the offense a lot tonight. So Colin was off ball as well, which is what we saw when Devin was out there. So there's a lot of ways that he impacts outside of just hitting those threes. So that's why you can withstand a 3 of 21 run from deep from him and still get quality minutes and know that eventually that three-point shooting is going to hit again.
I was going to say my apologies. I shortchanged him. 4 of 22.
4
that changes everything.
Man.
4 of 22. My bad. But, yeah, to that point, too, like we said it before, that he's still taking them. He's 4 of 22 and not 4 of 16 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to make defenses still be like, this guy's a shooter. He's made 10 in a game this year. It's going to click. Let us not be the team that he finds it against, because he's going to find it against one of these teams. But you have to defend him a certain way that allows him to attack closeouts, allows him to get downhill and be a multi-dimensional player. So that's encouraging.
I think of the role player realm of guys, and I want to make sure I emphasize the role player realm of guys. Anybody that want to clip it, make sure you clip that part too. I don't know that there's a better role player that leverages their attention garnered for their three-point shooting prowess and the threat of that into opportunity to get downhill and keep an advantage.
Yep.
So a lot of times Grayson can't get up three-point attempts because guys are already on alert to run them off the line. If you don't have a counterpunch in your bag to go get a paint touch, flatten out the defense, and then kick it off to someone else who then reaps the benefits of the attention you get from your prowess as a shooter, that it puts a snag in your process. Zach Lowe calls them record scratches if you're not able to keep an advantage like that. Grayson's a player that greatly benefits from the Suns' offense because of that, and people in turn benefit from him because of it too.
Yeah, they're vinyl smooth thanks to
vinyl
Grayson
smooth.
Allen.
There you go.
Well, and I think the Suns have done a good job of that beyond Grace. I think he's the best one, but Royce O'Neal has also garnered a lot of attention. He obviously has his famous pump fake that people go for. He'll drive and pass the ball. I think Colin Gillespie is now starting to leverage some of the gravity that he pulls out to the three-point line. So those are three guys that are going to really thrive around two main offensive engines in Jalen Green and Devin Booker. And again, those two guys were out tonight. Not to beat a dead horse, but you beat a really good Minnesota team on a win streak that was 8-4 at home coming into tonight. And you did it without those two guys. I mean, you did it with your main offensive options being Colin Gillespie, Grayson Allen, and Dillon Brooks, who shot a combined 18 of 51 from the field, good for 35.2%. From those top three guys. And you found a way to beat a healthy Minnesota Timberwolves who just lost Gobert for about 40% of the game. That is a really, really impressive feat, and you don't do it with the two guys that we haven't talked about yet today, and I think we wrap up here talking about a pair of blue-collar boys off the bench, Jordan Goodwin and Jamari Bouye. Jordan Goodwin continues to just be very solid offensively in his 26 minutes tonight. 9 points, 4 of 8 from the field, 1 of 2 from deep, 3 rebounds and an assist and a steal, a +7 in his 26 minutes. Jamari Bouye only got 12 minutes tonight. It was a short rotation. Scored 5 points, 2 of 2 from the field, doesn't miss shots, 1 of 1 from deep, a rebound, an assist, and +11 in his 12 minutes. Those two guards off the bench, I love their defense, I love their hustle and their energy, but Steven, offensively, they have been as solid can be.
Yeah, Jordan Goodwin, no different than Royce O'Neal, stepping up in playmaking responsibilities the last couple of weeks. Being able to run pick and roll, and what that in turn can do long-term for a player like Jalen Green or Devin Booker, whether they're both on the floor with Jamari Bouye or Jordan Goodwin, or just one of those guys is on the floor with them. If they're able to run an effective pick and roll to where a help defender has to make a decision not to take the ball out of Devin Booker or Jalen Green's hands, but to help off of them when they're off the ball or not, and the constant conflict that puts the defender in, and they're converting at the race that they are right now, that's something that you can really start to build out lineups with. Eric, you brought up the Mark Dagnall point, or you brought up the Sam Presti point that I brought up about Mark Dagnall and him kind of empowering guys, but taking advantage of when guys are hurt and not just using that as time to figure things out, but doing it with intention to where guys come back, you're better in your numbers as a sum because of that. And I think we're seeing some of the kind of benefits that the Suns should reap from once their guys get healthy.
I love Jordan Goodwin's fearlessness. He
Yeah.
was up in Anthony Edwards' grill multiple times tonight. And sure, Ant got his, but it wasn't easy, and in part because Jordan Goodwin was making him work for it. And those are the little things that keep a guy like that in your rotation when guys come back. And Bouye, you can't say enough about what he's been able to come in and do basically off the street. They plucked him out of Milwaukee's G League team and said, you know what, come up here and actually have an impact with the Suns, and he's filled in more than admirably. It's going to be tough to not have him find his way into some minutes when guys come back as well. He's been that impactful, even when it is short bursts like tonight.
Yeah, it's almost to the point where we're like a broken record starting with Bouye. Like I said, it basically every game he's gotten significant minutes. He just finds himself in the right place. There was a relocation three that he had. He caught it, ready to shoot it, knocked it down. And then when you talked about Jordan Goodwin, he was this close to getting his scheduled putback that he had this game. He almost had a tip in and just didn't get it to go. But you mentioned his defense on Anthony Edwards. I think about how uncomfortable he made Mike Conley. He's like, I'm guarding the fifth oldest guy in the league. However, wherever Mike Conley ranks, I'm going to get in his grill, make him feel uncomfortable. And he basically got a hand on the ball. Mike Conley just kicked it because it was going to be a fast break layup otherwise. So thinking about that effort and just being the gritty type of guy to do those blue-collar things to make your matchup uncomfortable. Doesn't matter if it's a rising superstar in the league or a guy who's been in the league for 19, 20 seasons. He's getting that same effort, and that was really impressive to see.
Gil, we don't have to sugarcoat it, man. Goody saw a guy that's significantly older than him and said, I'm going to crowd his airspace because I know you don't want to do too much.
He
saw an offensive pitch.
Yes,
he did.
Let's be fair. Father Time's making Mike Conley uncomfortable.
Is he
not
only
Jordan
the
Goodwin.
fifth oldest player in the league?
That's my
shocking.
guess. That's my guess.
How old is he?
He's definitely 39.
CP was still in the league. That technically still is. LeBron's still in the league.
He's 38.
38.
So obviously Bron's
He's not on the
older.
other side of 40
He's
yet.
young then. He's only 38.
Exactly. There's a lot of 38-year-olds in the league.
I mean, heck, Phillip Rivers at 44 is trying out for an NFL team. So, hey, can I shout out a blue-collar boy in our chat?
Yeah.
Carl from Thailand said that he got told that he was a top 0.1% of viewers for PHNX Sports today by YouTube, and it's a great win with awesome resilience. So, shout out to Carl in Thailand that must be doing some weird timing to watch our show.
MVP.
Mike Conley, literally the fifth oldest player in the NBA
Look
right
at
now,
that.
if you include Chris Paul.
Gil just pulling that out of nowhere.
Let's get to some super chats here. Also known as Bobby with a 199 super chat says, "Is our guard lineup the deepest in the league?"
No. You don't have to do that yet.
No.
You don't have to
They're
do that
deep.
yet.
I'll say that they're deep.
But no, Eric, remember there was a point where before the season started, we got talked about for saying that the Suns had depth.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
People got mad at us for a lot of positive things that we said about the Suns.
They got mad for us identifying what guys can bring to the table individually and how that strength in numbers is something that will help them navigate injuries inevitably like we've seen, even more than we expected, but also just the arduous part of an 82-game season. Guys have to step up in some capacity, and the Suns have guys that have shown to be capable of doing that before.
Let's go through player by player, though. I'm not going to say yes. Okay, Devin Booker, top-tier guard in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Jalen Green is the 2. Obviously, there's a lot of potential there, but he was the number 1 option on the number 2 seed last year. I would say probably one of the better number 2 options at a guard in the league, in theory, if he's actually playing, okay?
Yeah, when he's healthy, he's going to be one of the better second options in the entire
And let's
league.
just go through this healthy right now, just for my sake, okay? Then you got Grayson Allen, who I still consider a guard as well.
As you should.
He's
a guard,
been
for
through a slump as of late, but before he got injured, he was playing like one of the biggest revelations in the league on not just a three-point shooting basis, but also driving, assisting, and playing defense. So that's got to be one of the better third guard options in the league, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, then you go to the bench. Talk about Colin Gillespie. We've talked about Colin Gillespie being one of the best players off of the bench this season, not just guards, but that's your first guard that comes off of the bench. Then you look at Jordan Goodwin, who continues to give you really solid two-way minutes, hitting threes, driving the lane, making good passes, and playing defense. Okay,
the offensive rebounds are elite.
that's your fifth guard, all right?
That's your last signing going into the regular season.
And then you got the most recent signing in Jamari Bouye, who is, yes, a two-way guard, but as far as two-way players who've made an impact this season, he's certainly up there as well. That is 6 guards who make meaningful, positive impact that can be on the court on any given day, from your $75 million per year max player to the two-way guy who you signed off the street a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. if it's not the deepest in the league, it is very, very solid and very deep. A big kudos to Brian Gregory and this front office for filling out that position well.
I think Buddha the Schizo says it best. He says, we have one of the most amount of guards in the league.
Highest volume.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think in terms of impact per guy this year, you can argue, yeah, they've had significant impact. And when you're talking about impact per dollar spent, I would argue that, yes, they have the most impactful per dollar spent probably.
And they also have someone on the G League level that's averaging 20 a game.
Yeah.
Kobe
Bryant.
Bryant. So you really want to extend that conversation to everybody that's either on the roster or has been.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's just like I think it's like the most unique maybe because you think about the wide range of everything that the guys in that 6 to 7 man group.
6 to
Got
8.
him. Got him.
6 to 8 guards.
That group can do that it's unique. I'm done. I don't even make a point anymore.
I think the word deepest is interesting here because it's not saying best.
Yeah.
Right. I think you look at best backcourt in the NBA, you look at the team that you beat in the Lakers, right? And Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves. Okay, that's certainly one of the best backcourts, if not, it's the best backcourt in the NBA. Shea and whoever he's going to share the court with on any given night that's going to also drop 20 because the Thunder have witchcraft. That's the best backcourt in the NBA, right? You look at, Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges out in New York. Okay, star power, top-end power. You could still say that that's better because Jalen Green hasn't proven himself yet. But when you get down to your fifth and your sixth guard and these guys that are coming in on two-way deals, maybe I'm just ignorant, but I can't think of another team in the NBA, and it's not like I don't follow other teams, that can be like, hey, our fifth and our sixth guard, we feel confident coming in and making a positive impact, not just maintaining and treading water, but positively impacting a game.
And trusting them, too.
I think the toughest thing is most teams don't have to get down.
And that's fair. And that's totally fair. And I think that's a completely different conversation. But as the Suns sit here with their two top guards injured, it's a good one to have.
Can I make – I think we should get a 6'7" chain, and whoever says it
gets the
has to wear the chain out of shame. So
it's amazing how much it comes up in basketball discussions.
Buddha the Schizo. We'll get to the other super chats here in a second. I promise. I'm sorry I'm going out of order. With a $1.99 super chat. Love this little tidbit from Buddha. Says everyone that played scored, assisted, and rebounded. I wonder how many times that happens.
That sums up the metal of this team. That sums up the makeup of this team. Everybody does a little bit of everything to varying degrees, but it's not really, especially when your top two guys are out. In order to win ball games, you just got to go out there and make an impact. And whatever's asked of you, it could look different on a night-to-night basis based on the matchup. But we've seen it. To see your bigs come off the bench and be trusted to make plays, especially we talk about Ryan Dunn on a night where his shot's not there, he's still finding people, things like that. Also, another guy, I don't even think it's underrated, like his passing ability, things like that. So the fact that everybody's doing a little bit of everything speaks to the makeup of this team.
All but two of them had fouls, too.
And, hey, I'll one-up even that as well. Only one player tonight didn't grab an offensive rebound.
That's really
That's Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks was the only player on the court tonight that didn't grab an offensive rebound.
He was shooting him. Exactly.
He grabbed 2 boards tonight, but Jamari Bouye only grabbed 1 rebound tonight.
Offensive
board. That was right when he checked in the game too. Mm-hmm. I mean that. How many times have you played 9 players and 8 of them have grabbed an offensive rebound against the Timberwolves, who run Rudy Gobert, Naz Reid, and Julius Randle? At least 2 of those guys on the court at one time. Yeah. That's crazy. Speaking of crazy, let's get into our final super chats here. I'll read the one from Kev. You got to read the ones from B. See clearly, right. Gil. Mesa for Teens Kev with a $2 super chat. It's always good to see you when we can't see you, Kev. Says, no soft switches from Big Willie, only hard screens.
Yeah,
he's hitting guys when he's setting screens.
and somebody in Minnesota is not calling him either.
Yeah, that's fact. The refs were terrible tonight. If we lost this game, Ferk the refs would have been out.
No, but his teammates weren't calling.
His teammates were not calling. They were not calling.
I'm just saying the refs weren't calling shit tonight.
Jaden McDaniels got blowed up twice.
Within within 2.5 minutes.
It was by Oso and by Mark.
I was like, man, I would not talk to them after the game.
I don't condone fighting, but that is a situation you want to throw hands over.
Yeah,
You're supposed to be my communication with my eyes behind my head because we want to have extended pickup points, but no one's letting me know that a walloping 7-foot tree is about to set the hardest screen I've ever been hit about in my life. And then
Twice?
it happens again.
Man,
Like, nah,
It looks
Nah,
like a
bro.
team that needs to add Chris
that's
Paul.
a player.
Nah,
Dude needed
bro.
a change of shorts. He got hit so hard
Nah,
twice,
bro. I'm
and
not
his
talking. Yeah,
teammates not
I'm not
calling
talking
him.
to them bigs
Nah,
for like
definitely
a
not.
week. Nah.
Like, hey, coach, it's cool. I got the film right now.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all, these two right here, this right here, we can't do. We can't
Nah,
do.
man.
Nope. The
Nope.
trust is not there right now.
Nope.
The time has come for Gil to read 2 super chats from Be Calm, See Clearly.
Starting here.
Oh, you're getting into it. Let's go.
have Babe read this super chat, and no, I don't want to talk about it. They only won by 3 points, and I didn't put the snatch on a team like tonight. Salute. And the final one, last but not least. Good one is my ex-boo. Salute. Snatch. I see my new one.
That's you, brother.
Salute. Peaky face emoji. Is that what we call it?
Sure, we'll go with peaky face emoji.
It
now.
is
I like
awesome to know that Be Calm, See Clearly is not in prison, as
Yes.
previously
that. Are we
reported in our
sure?
last.
Is it just some internet time in prison right now?
If Be Calm, if you're snatch saluting from prison, then snatch salute to you. Any final thoughts on a 108-105 victory? Be Calm, See Clearly is freed. It's a good night out here at Gila River Resorts and Casinos.
My last thought is we're going to learn our lesson at some point. You can never count this team out. It doesn't matter who's available, who's questionable, who they're playing against. This team is always going to have a chance. They're going to fight, and that is a really cool feeling going into Wednesday's game.
I just want to look straight at you, Matt Ishbia, Brian Gregory, Jordan Ott. Thank you. You said you were going to come in and give us a team that we'd be proud to root for, that we would enjoy watching, that would reinstitute faith in what it means to be a member of the Phoenix Suns and what it means to be a member of the Phoenix Suns fan base. This has been based on pride for decades. It means more in Phoenix than in most sports cities, where most sports cities embrace their NFL team. We are an NBA and basketball city through and through. And the three of you have delivered on that promise and have made it better to be a basketball fan in Arizona, and we appreciate that.
Job well done. Job well done. 105 points from Minnesota. That ties for their fewest points scored this entire season.
Wow.
Let that register for a moment and think about the why behind that and how the Suns went about doing that. So many times we've talked about throughout the season the Suns forcing shot clock violations or forcing teams, dragging them into the deep water, and then they have to take a shot with their back against the shot clock that's erring, that's a significantly low shot quality, or make an extra pass in a situation where they might have wanted to take a shot. Their defense is just on such a string. They're in a point where they're really dictating to their opponents. And if a team is taking that many type of shots that late in the clock, that means that you're playing the game on your terms with your defense. It's not always about sending double teams and blitzing and switching, though they're one of the highest switch rate teams in the league, which I harp on. They're just sharp with execution. One guy making a decision and the defensive decision-making dominoes in succession after that, very much in lockstep or #aligned with one another. One guy leaves his, helps someone else out. The next guy is in position to go and do that to help the helper and help the helper's helper. And then they just continue to get back in rotation, and then they play solid from there. They continue to compile these possessions, and that's why they're able to get these types of wins regardless of who's in and out of the lineup.
Not bad for the worst defense in the NBA.
No,
Not bad
team
for the
with,
worst defense, yeah, for sure.
Hey, chat is going crazy right now. Yeah, not bad for a team that was predicted to win 31 games. They're now 14-10, 24 games into the season. They're 6-6 on the road, which might sound mediocre, but when you think about how they started the season, which was abysmal on the road, that means that, of course, in this recent stretch, they have been playing very well away. Obviously, a big test on Wednesday, NBA Cup knockout stage on the road against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Well, it's such a big game. We got to do a 3 p.m. live show to get ready for it. That's exactly what we're going to do. Tomorrow, we'll preview the Cup. Maybe we'll give our official Cup predictions. Plus, we'll talk about the Phoenix Suns 24 games into the season as we get ready for what will be hopefully one of the best matchups in the entire Cup, and maybe the Suns getting revenge on what is a team that is on pace to be one of the best of all time in the regular season.
I got to blame you for something.
Oh, boy, what?
You start this show off by saying, welcome to the psychos and sickos.
Yeah.
I blame you for this chat. because you have turned that.
No,
by
see,
saying that,
psychos
you've
and
turned them
sickos
into
in a
psychos and
basketball
sickos.
sense, okay?
Have
It's
you
a
read
self-fulfilling prophecy.
Have you read some
Psychos
of
and
this?
sickos in the basketball sense.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm saying hi to the psychos and sickos in the chat then tonight.
Well, look, whether you're psycho or whether you're sicko or you're somewhere in between, maybe you're just a normal, well-adjusted person. How does that sound? Must be nice. Can't relate. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Become a member today like Kev, like Bees, like Freckled Mamba, like Aaron, like Will, who became a member in pregame, Melissa, like so many of y'all, Kara in the chat as well, Bobby in the chat, Buddha, so many members in the chat. What am I missing? Oh, man. Woo!
Psychos and sickos unite in
and
Gil's
sickos unite. Well, we're going to say goodnight here on PHNX Suns. We'll be back tomorrow talking the NBA Cup and your Phoenix Suns, who are now 4 games above 500. Ooh, it feels so good to say that after they take down Cant Man and the Timberwolves.
Can you say
Excuse me. You need to tell somebody to watch tomorrow's 3 p.m. show. And then the post-game and pre-game show and watch along that we'll probably be doing for the NBA Cup game on Wednesday after that.
All of them?
All of them.
Yeah,
and
all
then
of them.
The game after that.
Yeah.
And then guess what?
The game after
that too. And then
Yeah.
guess what? They play an 82-game season. Well, really 83 now because they got the Cup game involved right now.
Right.
So
well, because they're
in.
going to get to the finals.
Yeah,
of
win
the
the whole damn
Cup.
thing.
They're
Hey,
gonna win the whole
don't
damn
be
thing.
gatekeeping us. No, we
No.
are trying to improve the space. So
Yes.
share us with everybody. Tell a friend to tell a friend.
You got a friend who wants to hear a nice, smooth voice on a PHNX Suns podcast?
Yeah,
You can
and
share it
Gil's
with the
too.
friends.
It's
Yeah,
barely
Gil's too.
been a couple
Oh,
weeks and Gil
man.
getting pimped out for his
Oh,
voice.
man.
That's
We
crazy,
are going to
man.
end things before our YouTube chat gets us demonetized. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, tune in tomorrow at 3, and then, of course, Wednesday, pregame, postgame, and a watch-along. Guess what? All in our pajamas because you all raised so much money for Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America. So all of us will be wearing pajamas. I'm sure all of you in chat are very interested to see one of our hosts in their pajamas. As Aaron says, the people love Gil. And maybe it goes a little bit farther than that. Well, you can follow the show at PHNX_Suns. That's on Twitter and on Instagram as well. Shout out to Freckled Mamba. Remote show is always a big test for producers.
MVP.
Always great stuff from the Freckled Mamba, but especially when we hit the road out at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, Wild Horse Pass, for what was a great and amazing time with great people, great food, and a great Suns win. You can follow the Freckled Mamba at Freckled Mamba. You can follow Steven at StevenPG3. That's Steven with a PH. He's at every practice, shoot around, home game, Valley Suns game, bringing you on the ground reporting on your Phoenix Suns and Valley Suns, plus the Mercury. When the Mercury are in season as well, an absolute must follow for a basketball fan in Phoenix. That's at StevenPG3. You can follow Espo and catch him on Southwest Bias every single weekday morning. Follow him at Espo. And for all of you out there, you can follow Gil at Gil McGregor _ I'm going to say it one more time for people. At Gil McGregor _ out there on socials.
The underscore is there because it underscores just how deep and beautiful that voice is.
And you can follow
I'll take
me
it.
at ERIKRUBY. And remember, psychos and sickos, I guess, is an all-inclusive term. We'll see you tomorrow.
Ahoy, hoy.
We all silly like the mayor.